You are live. You are live. Hi, gang. This is actually take two. I hope that I look and sound okay because the first time it wouldn't let me into my own conversation. I want to say something up front, and that is I am thrilled to see in social media people receiving their copies of Smercomics. By the way, if you've not yet received yours, it's okay. Bob's on top of it, doing the best that he can to turn around everybody's books. But you'll see in my social media later today, Bob Crawford is a friend. Bob Crawford is the upright bass player for the Avett Brothers. And he sent me a picture over the weekend of his living room, fireplace, Christmas tree, coffee table, and copy of Smercomics opened up, by the way, I guess on a cartoon of his choosing. And the books are awesome. The books are awesome. I bought a number of books for myself, paid for them, just like everybody else. I didn't buy enough. I did not buy enough. I'm regretting it. So, like many of you are regretting it, I'm regretting it. Hey, how about giving the gift of headline entertainment this holiday season? Purchase gift cards for concerts and comedy at the Excite Center, the Liberty Bell Beer Garden, the Parks Grill Steakhouse, and so many other parks-related opportunities. My casino of choice, Parks Casino. This is how you win. Pennsylvania's #1 casino is right in the Philly burbs, less than 2 hours from New York, so close to northern and southern New Jersey and Delaware, too. Listen to the acts upcoming. Larry the Cable Guy, a second show added for comedian Ron White. Colin Jost from SNL coming back for 2 nights in March. Country artist Cole Swindell. The reggae sounds of Shaggy. Actor Richard Kind from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. Magician Michael Carbonaro. Country star Lee Brice. I mean, whatever the person on your gift list is looking for, they've got it at Parks Casino. ParksCasino.com to get your tickets. You've got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. With regard to today, the Monday poll question at Smerconish.com. So here where the studio is located, sunrise was 7:16 a.m. Here, sunset 4:36 p.m. 4:36. Keep in mind the 4:36 sunset. Portland, Maine, today, 4:05 sunset. Miami, Portland is 4:05. Miami is 5:32. Detroit, 5 p.m. LA, 4:45. Juneau, Alaska, 3:05. Yikes. And sunrise was 8:41, or will be in Juneau. What's wrong with me? Juneau, 8:41 to 3:05. That is brutal. Like twice a year, I talk about daylight saving time when we spring forward and fall backward. Like, hey, should we keep this up? The reason I'm talking about it now, and you know this, is that President-elect Donald Trump is saying he's in favor of eliminating daylight saving time. He says that it's inconvenient and very costly. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy at DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, they are pushing for action on the matter. So it seems like this may really take effect this year, meaning this may be the year that some changes are made. They would need to be passed by Congress, and legislation on the issue has been considered before in recent years, but without any change in the result. Bonnie Berkowitz was a great guest on radio here at the end of last week. She from the Washington Post, part of a 3-person byline, and they created something very interactive, which I recommend to you. You can find it in my social media. And you go and you plug in, you're in the Washington Post model, you plug in the county where you live, and it gives you the different scenarios. So I was able to plug in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, and just see like what kind of a difference would it make for me in these 3 different models. Here was the setup to the Washington Post piece. For most U.S. residents, the sun went down earlier on one part of the past few days than at any other time of the year. Jarringly, early December sunsets are the result of the annual fallback from daylight saving time to standard time. But what if we had never sprung forward in the first place? And then there's discussion, as I just told you, of Ramaswamy and Musk, who are in favor of dumping daylight saving time. Either plan would get rid of the twice a year clock changes, as almost 2/3 of Americans say they want. But the country may be too spread out for a one size pleases all solution. Depending on your latitude and how close you are to the edge of your time zone, you could end up with some unexpected extremes in terms of daylight. So for me, here's the variance. For me, in terms of um, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, latest sunrise, earliest sunset, earliest sunrise, latest sunset. The variance is most pronounced in terms of the latest sunset, with no daylight saving time, 7:35 p.m. With the current system and permanent daylight saving time, because now we're in that, it's 8:35 p.m. In terms of the earliest sunrise, the variance 4:31 a.m. to 5:31 a.m. When we moved our clocks back an hour last month, we doomed the people of northern Maine to darkness at 3:45 p.m. on December 10, the earliest nightfall in the lower 48, 3:45 p.m. If we stayed on standard time year-round, those folks also would have June daylight streaming through their windows as early as 3:39 a.m. On the other hand, if we went with daylight saving year-round, some North Dakotans wouldn't get sunrise until after 9:45 a.m. for part of the winter. And it's not just remote areas. All of Michigan, most of Indiana, including Detroit and Indianapolis, would have at least some post 9 a.m. winter sunrises, thanks to the state's positions on the western end of the Eastern time zone. So, three choices in terms of how this should be resolved. The way that I worded it was select a time change scenario. Your three choices: no daylight saving time, permanent daylight saving time, or the current system. And by the way, it's pretty, as I look at just a few hundred votes having been cast, by now it's several thousand, but I froze my screen that I monitor. There was an even divide on it, which makes it a good poll question. Last Friday, when we were last together, is it the responsibility of our federal government to ensure that all Americans have health care coverage? 32,000 plus voted. 76.58% said, yes, it's a right, and the government has got to ensure it. Saturday, 44,530, should immigration enforcement actions be constrained in areas such as schools, medical facilities, places of worship, funerals, and weddings. 70.78% said yes on that subject, discussing that more on radio today. And then the Sunday poll question, I'm shocked that since we've last been together for this conversation, we don't know more. The drones of New Jersey. I asked yesterday, do the feds know the truth behind the New Jersey drone sightings? 69.44% said yes, 30.56% said no. As far as I'm concerned, we still don't know, and I'm now dubious as to whether they know. Secretary Mayorkas yesterday from Homeland Security said Americans will be told if evidence arises that foreign actors are responsible for the drones spotted over New Jersey and other East Coast cities. By the way, now Pennsylvania as well. My native Bucks County, Pennsylvania, was one location where there were sightings over the weekend of these drones. Mayorkas said there's no question drones are being spotted, and the federal government has deployed resources to assist New Jersey State Police. One thing the drone story has done is it has limited the healthcare conversation that we were having in follow-up to the heinous execution of the healthcare CEO 2 weeks ago this Wednesday. Go vote at Smerconish.com on today's poll question. Select a time change scenario: no daylight saving time, permanent daylight saving time, or the current system. I'm selfishly advocating for whatever gives me the most daylight latest in the day, because I find it so debilitating when the sun is going down at or before 5 p.m. in the winter. So depressing. That's my personal preference, but that's because our kids are no longer standing out at the school bus, and I know how important that issue is to so many people. Thank you for listening and watching. If you do on YouTube, please go vote at smerconish.com on today's poll question. And thank you.